Greetings. Anaconda must feel really happy, because Anaconda is not alone anymore. It has siblings, or call whatever you like. We have two new big ships similar to Anaconda now. And while they are very similar, they really are very different in the end. So let's compare. All stats are correct for beta 1.5. I will try those ships after beta goes live to check if anything changed, but these stats are as close to real thing as you can get for now. Let's start with internal compartments. As you can see, Imperial Cutter has least amount of internals, which is funny because, yeah, you probably already know that Cutter can hold a staggering 728 tons of cargo with shields. And what we can see right away is that all ships have class 8 power plant. Imperial Cutter has class 8 thrusters, which do not help for agility, but only for top speed. Frameshed drive also class 7 for Cutter and 6 for Anaconda Corvette, meaning that Imperial Cutter is in better positions than Federal Corvette. And Imperial Cutter has class 7 life support, Anaconda Federal Corvette class 5. Imperials just don't want to die fast. However, Power Distributor is better for Anaconda and Corvette, class 8, for Cutter only class 7. And that actually means that you can shoot two class 3 beam lasers with 4 pips to weapons for 18 seconds on Anaconda and Federal Corvette, but on Cutter you will run out of juice after 12 seconds. Anaconda and Corvette has one class higher sensors, and Imperial Cutter has by default fuel tank 64 tons, Anaconda Corvette only 32 tons, so not only more cargo, you can also get bigger fuel tank, which will be very handy if you will use Cutter for smuggling missions in next live build. Highest class of internal compartment is on Cutter, class 8, and actually you can have two of them. On Anaconda and Corvette highest class is 7. Anaconda has only one of those, and Corvette even 3. Now let's move to shipyard stats for my fully combat fitted Anaconda, Federal Corvette and Imperial Cutter. Top speed, obviously Imperial Cutter has highest, not by much though, only like 15 meters per second over Corvette and around 20 over Anaconda. Boost speed, well, this is where Cutter really shines. 350 versus 267 Corvette and Anaconda can have. As you see, maneuverability is same for all ships. However, these stats do not show anything. I would like to see base values for pitch and roll instead, not this. This is not telling us anything, and these stats I would actually delete from shipyard. Frameshed drive range, you can see Anaconda of course has best range for fully combat fitted, Corvette the worst, and Imperial Cutter in the middle. 2 light years worse than Anaconda and 3 light years better than Corvette. Shields, Imperial Cutter wins hands down. These are shields with best shield generators rating A and full load of boosters, so 8 shield boosters, A rating on each ship. You can tweak these stats obviously. Armor without any hull reinforcement packages for Anaconda is highest. Corvette actually has the lowest armor from all ships. And hull mass, you can see Imperial Cutter is almost 3 times heavier than Anaconda. Federal Corvette is 2 times more heavy than Anaconda. Yeah, those are really heavy ships. And hardpoints, all ships have 8 utility mounts. Anaconda has 2 small, 2 medium, 3 large, 1 huge. Corvette, 2 small, 2 medium, same as Anaconda, 1 large and 2 huge. And Imperial Cutter's hardpoints I actually like most, because 4 medium, 2 large, 1 huge. Small hardpoints I find quite useless on those ships, but if you have enough power, you could use their small weapons as well. Also, huge hardpoints don't have enough of weapon variety now. If that changes, then maybe Corvette will have very useful, but for now I don't see any big use of 2 huge hardpoints on Corvette. Most likely you still will be using there some large weapon. But it depends, what's your aim, what's your loadout, what are your enemies, are you in a wing or no. And now let's play with numbers. Stock price, Anaconda 147, Federal Corvette 182, Imperial Cutter 200. These are prices from beta, so probably they are not final. Also, if you are at Founders World, you can get 10% discount, at Leon Gru 15% discount. So these are just approximate numbers for what you could expect, and what rank requirements will have Imperial Cutter and Federal Corvette is still unknown. For some reason devs keep it as a secret. Mass lock factor, obviously Imperial Cutter is heaviest, 27, Corvette 25 and Anaconda 23 as lightest. So Imperial Cutter will mass lock all ships including itself. Nothing can escape Cutter. Trade fitted price, Anaconda 160, Corvette, if for some reason you would decide to use it, 190, Imperial Cutter 240. Trade fitted ships means with lowest possible class best rating shield, with no armor, no weapons, no shield boosters, but with full load of cargo racks. And of course best frameshift drive and all lightest modules. So this price is still variable, depends. If you are playing in open, you probably will want shield boosters. If you are playing solo private, you don't care, you can even have worse shields. I mean rating D, which will make this ship even cheaper. And lighter, which actually will increase slightly your jump range. So jump laden, Anaconda up to 2144, Imperial Cutter 16, Federal Corvette 11.5. So for trading you will use Anaconda or Imperial Cutter. Max cargo, no shields, Imperial Cutter 792, wow, insane. Federal Corvette 616, Anaconda 468. But I doubt many of you will fly these ships without shields, it doesn't make sense. Especially in the open. Maximum jump range you can achieve with those ships plus minus is for Anaconda almost 40 light years, Imperial Cutter 26, Corvette 21 point something. Combat fitted price, Anaconda 700 mil, it's with mirrored armor, that's why the price is so high, also without turrets, turrets are most expensive. Federal Corvette 900 mil, Imperial Cutter 1.4 billion, wow. But that's again for now, in beta it might change. Jump, combat fitted ship, Anaconda almost 17, Imperial Cutter 15.5 and Corvette almost 12. Maximum speed with 0 pips to engines, Imperial Cutter 175, Federal Corvette 103, Anaconda 90. As you see, Anaconda is almost 2 times slower than Cutter with 0 pips to engines. With 4 pips, Cutter 219, Federal Corvette 206, Anaconda 202, so it actually evens out at 4 pips. Boost, Imperial Cutter 350, Corvette 268, Anaconda 268. They are very similar, Corvette and Anaconda I mean with boost. But Cutter still wins hands down, it's fastest ship in the game from all 3 big fishes, or big snakes. Armor, Anaconda 1.8 thousand, Imperial Cutter 1.4, Federal Corvette 1.3. For some reason Federal Corvette actually has weakest armor without hull reinforcement packages. All 3 ships have mirrored armor. Shields, Imperial Cutter 2.4 thousand, Federal Corvette 1.9, Anaconda 1.4. It's with best shield generator rating A and with full load 8 shield boosters also rating A. So Cutter has impressive shields. With prismatic shields you can even increase that number. Now let's move to most important stats if you are planning on fighting. Federal Corvette pitches 360 degrees with 4 pips to engines in 12.6 seconds, Anaconda 13 and Imperial Cutter 18.8. As you see right away, Federal Corvette is only slightly more agile than Anaconda, but Imperial Cutter, yeah, far behind. And pitching 360 degrees with 0 pips, Federal Corvette 16, Anaconda 16.4, Imperial Cutter 23.6. As you can see, Federal Corvette and Anaconda with 0 pips to engines pitch faster than Imperial Cutter with 4. Should devs change this? I'm not sure, because Cutter has huge shields, Cutter has much better speed. I think it's best to have 3 different ships and we can choose from, unless devs implement that we can only progress, I mean naval progression, only max out with 1. Like we must choose Empire or Federation, then it would make sense to have same ships in both factions. But if we can rank up with all major factions, I think we should have different ships, and it's very good, because now you can use Imperial Cutter for trading, Anything including cargo bay, Imperial Cutter is your best choice. It's also very fast, and jump range is not that bad. So you can mine, you can trade, you can do missions. All for that you can choose Imperial Cutter. If you want to fight, you can choose Federal Corvette, which is slightly better than Anaconda, and if we have good huge weapons in future, Federal Corvette will become even better. And Anaconda, in example you want to explore, nothing beats Anaconda's jump range. It's very good, the visibility is good, it has more internals than you need. You can fit all you need and you will even have spare compartments. So I would suggest you, if in live build all ships will have same stats, I would say that you will trade in Cutter, fight in Corvette or Anaconda, explore in Anaconda, mine in Anaconda or Cutter. I would even say Cutter because more cargo space means more profit. And for missions I would also pick Cutter if it does not involve outposts. Obviously you can't land those ships on outposts. So this is to date about Imperial Cutter, Anaconda and Federal Corvette. By the way guys, I am working on a ship guide, Season 1 edition, which will feature all ships in Season 1 with many different stats. And if you feel like you want to share with me, in example you've done different tests and you have stats for all ships in the game and you think they are interesting, or you can provide me with high resolution screenshots of different ships, or maybe you have bought all skins and you can make screenshots of them all, or you want to support me and donate money and find yourself in a list of supporters in this guide, feel free to contact me. The guide will be available in video as well as downloadable PDF file. It will be a huge file because a lot of images. I just feel that Frontier is not giving enough data for ships, so I wanted to try them all, see how they handle, make a tables in the end of this guide so you can compare different ships. So in the end you can see which ship is fastest with 0 pips, with 4 pips, which is fastest at pitching, which has best jump range, biggest cargo size, blah blah blah. Contact me if you want to help or support me in creation of this guide, and you might find your name in this guide as a supporter. Fly safe, commanders!